Philadelphia, North 15th Street, a narrow alley, brick buildings on both sides, trash containers, broken glass shards, a yellow street lamp in the distance, dim light, long shadows, silent, only distant car sounds, and footsteps, a single man's footsteps. Joe Frazier is walking home. 11:30 p.m., November 1969. Training finished, tired but relaxed. Hands in his pockets, his breath turns to vapor in the cold. Thinking about tomorrow's training, the heavy bag, speed work, not yet world champion, but soon. He knows it, feels it in every training session. The power, the speed, the hunger. When he reaches the middle of the alley, he notices 3 men ahead, 4 men behind, 1 more on the right, 8 men total, surrounded. Joe stops, assesses. Young men, in their 20s, neighborhood kids, poor, hard. No visible knives, but there could be. Hunger in their eyes, hunger for money, hunger for power. Anger, kids who grew up in Philadelphia's poor neighborhoods, like Joe. But Joe chose a different path. These didn't. The leader steps forward, tall, thin but confident. Let's call him Marcus. His real name doesn't matter. What matters is what happened that night on that street. Marcus's voice is cold. Give me your wallet. Joe, calm. It would be better if you left. Marcus laughs. The others behind him laugh too. It's 8-1, old man. You're the one who should think about leaving. Joe looks around. 8 men, narrow alley, no escape route, forward or backward, both sides blocked. But Joe doesn't panic. His brain calculates, evaluates. The walls are very close, maybe 4 meters wide alley. 2 men can barely fit shoulder to shoulder. This is good. In an open space, 8 men could form a circle, could surround him, could attack from every direction. But here, only 2, maybe 3, can attack at once. The others have to wait. There's an order, a sequence. Joe can use this sequence. Yank Durham's words come to mind. His trainer, his teacher, father figure. Joe, in chaos, one perfect technique manages the chaos. You don't need to know 1,000 things. Know one thing perfectly. Let your body remember it. So your brain doesn't need to think. Joe has repeated the same punch 10,000 times. Left hook to the ribs. Exact target. 3rd rib, left side, breath-stopping punch. Shakes the liver, paralyzes the diaphragm. Man can't stay standing. Joe knows this because he's hit bags hundreds of times. Pads, sparring partners. Always the same spot, always the same angle, always the same power. Automatic, without thinking. Marcus again. I said, give me your wallet. Joe, no. Marcus gets angry. Then we'll take it. He signals. The man on the right attacks first. Young, 19, maybe 20 years old. Let's call him Tommy. He throws a punch. Wide. Inexperienced. Street fighting technique. Arm too open. No defense. Joe sees this as if in slow motion. His brain calculates. The punch comes. Now. Joe leans slightly. The punch cuts through air, passes by Joe's ear. Joe feels the wind, but the punch doesn't connect. Joe's right hand rises, short, hard, hook, exact target, ribs, left side, 3rd rib. The punch sinks into Tommy's side, bone cracks. Tommy's eyes widen, mouth open. No sound comes out, breath cut off. Diaphragm not working, lungs can't get air. Panic. Tommy bends over. Hand goes to his ribs, drops to his knees. Tries to cough, but can't. Only choking sounds. 1 man down, 2 men on the left come together. Carlos and Andre, trying to coordinate, but in the narrow alley they bump into each other. Shoulders collide. Joe shifts right. 1/2 meter, next to the wall. Carlos steps forward, throws a punch at Joe's face. Joe pulls his head back. The punch passes his nose tip. Millimeter difference. Joe counters. Right hook. Same place. Ribs. Left side. Third rib. Exact. Carlos's breath comes out as a scream. Ah! He bends. Falls to the ground next to Tommy. Andre tries to turn. Tries to get position. But too late. Joe has already moved. Steps left. Andre's side is open. Joe hits. Hook. Same spot. Andre falls. Tries to breathe. Can't. 3 men on the ground, holding their ribs, making choking sounds. Someone tries to grab Joe from behind. Miguel, strong, big body. His arms lock around Joe's chest from behind, squeezing. "I got him! Hit him!" he yells. Joe stays calm, doesn't panic. Miguel's arms have trapped Joe's arms, but his body is open. Joe drives his elbow backward, hard, fast, into Miguel's ribs, left side. Same spot. Miguel's arms suddenly loosen. Breath cut. Joe turns, pushes Miguel. Miguel staggers backward, hits the wall, slides down, holding his ribs. 4 men down. 4 men remain. Marcus and 3 more. Isaiah, Devon, and Terrell. They're standing, looking at their friends, on the ground, in pain, all holding the same spot. Left ribs, all trying to breathe the same way. Can't. Marcus. All of you at once. 4 men come, but they don't all fit in the narrow alley. 2 in front, 2 in back. Isaiah and Devon in front. Joe focuses on them. Isaiah comes from the right, Devon from the left. Double attack. Joe stays centered. Isaiah approaches, throws a punch. Joe doesn't block, because blocking wastes time. Instead, he moves. Step right. Isaiah's punch hits empty space. Joe counters. Hook. Ribs. Left side. Isaiah goes down. Devon comes from the left. Tries to kick. Joe sees the kick. Raises his knee. The kick hits Joe's knee. Devon loses balance. Joe drives his right hand. Hook. Same place. Devon falls. 6 men down. Marcus and Terrell remain. Terrell looks at Marcus. Fear in his eyes. "Marcus, this man, he's not normal." Marcus, angry. "There's only 2 of us left. We can do it together." But his voice is shaking. Confidence gone. Joe walks forward, doesn't wait, doesn't attack, but approaches. Relaxed, calm. Breathing still steady. There's sweat, but he doesn't look tired. Terrell backs away. I'm not doing this." He turns, runs, exits the alley, disappears. 7 men remain. 6 on the ground, 1 standing. Marcus and Joe face to face. Marcus's hands are fists, trembling. Anger or fear, hard to tell. Both. Who are you?" he asks. Joe, calm. "A boxer, a man walking home. You stopped me. I just defended myself." Marcus. "You put 6 men on the ground in less than 2 minutes." Joe. "You were 8. I was 1. But numbers don't matter. What matters is mastery. I did one thing 10,000 times. My body remembers. I don't need to think. You only relied on your numbers. But numbers aren't enough if there's no technique." Marcus. "What did you hit them with? They're all injured in the same place." Joe. "Ribs. Left side. 3rd rib. Paralyzes the diaphragm. Cuts off breath. Man can't fight if he can't breathe. Doesn't kill but neutralizes. Perfect for defense. Unnecessary for offense." Marcus slowly looks down. At his friends, all in the same position. Left hands pressed to their ribs. Right hands trying to hold the ground, trying to breathe. Breath slowly returning, but pain continues. Marcus looks at Joe. "Are you going to call the police?" Joe. "No." Marcus is surprised. "Why?" Joe. "Because you started it. I defended. If I call the police, you'll all be arrested. You'll have criminal records. Your lives will be harder. I don't want that. What I want is this. Don't do it again. Don't rob anyone on the street again. Don't rely on your numbers again. Because one day you might encounter someone worse than me. Someone who could kill. I didn't kill. but you don't know who the next one will be. Marcus is silent, thinking. Then, what's your name? Joe. Joe. Joe Frazier. Marcus nods. Joe Frazier. I'll remember. Joe. Good. Remember. And don't do it again. Joe turns, walks toward the exit. Marcus calls after him. Joe! Joe stops, turns. Marcus. Thank you. You could have killed us, but you didn't. Joe. Boxing isn't for killing. It's for defending yourself. Remember that. Joe leaves, exits the alley, disappears into the darkness. Marcus remains, with his 6 friends, all on the ground, all in pain, all injured the same. Philadelphia General Hospital, emergency room, 12:15 a.m. 6 young men arrive, all holding their ribs, all struggling to breathe. Nurse Lucy at the desk looks at them. What happened to you? Marcus. Fight. Street fight. Lucy. All of you from the same fight? Marcus. Yes. Lucy. Sit down. The doctor will come. 15 minutes later, Dr. Sarah Mitchell arrives. 35 years old, 10-year emergency room doctor. Has seen thousands of injuries. But what she's about to see tonight is different. She examines the first patient. Tommy. Where does it hurt? Tommy shows his left ribs. Dr. Mitchell manually examines. Tommy groans in pain. 3rd rib fractured, the doctor says. We'll do an x-ray. Second patient. Carlos. Same question. Where does it hurt? Carlos shows his left ribs. Dr. Mitchell examines. Same place. 3rd rib fractured. X-ray. Third patient. Andre. Same. Fourth patient. Miguel. Same. Fifth. Isaiah. Same. Sixth. Devon. Same. Dr. Mitchell stops, looks at the 6 patients, all the same injury, left side, 3rd rib, same fracture angle, same trauma point. She turns to Nurse Lucy. Lucy, this isn't normal. Lucy. What do you mean? Dr. Mitchell. 6 different people, 6 different body types, but all injured in the same place the same way. This is statistically impossible. One person can't do this. Lucy. But they all said they came from the same fight. Dr. Mitchell. How many people attacked them? Lucy asks Marcus. How many were the attackers? Marcus, slowly. 1 person. Dr. Mitchell can't believe it. 1 person injured 6 people in the same spot? Marcus. 8 people, actually. 2 didn't come to the hospital. But yes, 1 person. Hit all of us in the same place. Dr. Mitchell sits down, thinks. In 35 years of medical career, she's never seen anything like this. This is surgical precision, anatomical knowledge. Who did this? Marcus. A boxer, name's Joe Frazier. Dr. Mitchell takes notes, waits for x-rays. An hour later, the x-rays come. She examines all of them. All the same, 3rd rib, left side, fracture line at the same angle, trauma point millimetrically identical, as if made from the same mold, as if done by a machine, but not a machine, a human did it. Joe Frazier. Dr. Mitchell calls the police. There's a strange situation here. 6 patients, all with the same injury, surgically precise repetitive trauma. Someone needs to look at this. 8 a.m. Detective Frank Russo arrives. 48 years old, 20-year cop, has seen thousands of cases. Dr. Mitchell explains the situation, shows the x-rays. Frank looks. Can't believe it. 1 person did this? Dr. Mitchell. That's what the patients say. Frank interrogates the patients. All tell the same story. Joe Frazier, a boxer. They were 8. Joe defended himself. Hit all of them in the same place, in less than 2 minutes. Frank. Do you want to press charges? Marcus. No, we started it. He just defended himself. We were the ones in the wrong. Frank. Then why did you come to the hospital? Marcus. Because we were in pain. But we don't want to punish Joe. He gave us a lesson, a life lesson. Frank writes a report. Suspect: Joe Frazier, boxer, Cloverley Gym, action, self-defense, 8 attackers, 1 defender, 6 injured, all same injury. Left side, 3rd rib fracture. Surgical precision, repetitive technique, victims not pressing charges, no case to be filed, to be archived. The report goes to the archives. Philadelphia Police Department, November 1969. File number 691118-SM. It will sit there for 50 years. 2 years later, March 8, 1971. Madison Square Garden, New York, Joe Frazier versus Muhammad Ali. Fight of the century. Joe wins. Ali goes down in the 15th round. Joe wins unanimously. World heavyweight champion, the peak, the dream. It came true. In the locker room, hands wrapped, face swollen, but smiling, Yank Durham beside him. Joe, you're world champion. Joe: Yank, you taught me something. Perfect 1 technique. Repeat it 10,000 times. That technique will save you. Yank: What are you talking about? Joe: 1969. On the street, 8 men, me alone. That night I used the technique you taught me. 1 technique, 8 times. All went down because I'd repeated it 10,000 times. My body remembered. Yank laughs. Never heard that story? Joe: Never told anyone, but that night I understood. 1 perfect technique is better than 1,000 average techniques. Tonight against Ali, I used the same thing. Hook, ribs, again and again. He got tired too, lost his breath. I won. Yank: You're not just a champion, Joe. You're a master boxer. 50 years later, 2019, Philadelphia. Young journalist Michael Chen, 32 years old, local newspaper, writes sports articles. But today he's looking for something different. In police archives, old files, historical cases, got permission. Looking at files, 1969, 1970, 1971, and he sees a file. 691118-SM, opens it, reads. His eyes widen. 8 attackers, 1 defender, Joe Frazier, 6 injured, all same injury. Can't believe it. Joe Frazier, legend, died in 2011. But this file is unknown. Michael makes photocopies, gets permission, starts researching, tries to find Marcus. 1 of the 6 injured. Names are in the file. Michael searches on social media. Can he find him? Yes. Marcus Johnson, now 72 years old, lives in Philadelphia, retired, was a factory worker. Michael sends an email. Mr. Johnson, you experienced an incident in 1969 with Joe Frazier. Would you talk to me? A week later, a response comes. Yes, I can talk, but face to face. Michael goes to Marcus's house. Small house, clean, modest. Marcus greets him at the door, old but healthy, smiling. Come in. They sit, drinking coffee. Michael asks, Mr. Johnson, what happened that night? Marcus tells the whole story. 8 men, the street, Joe Frazier, 2 minutes, 6 men down, all injured the same. Hospital, doctor, police, report. Michael: So, what happened after? Marcus: I changed my life. That night when I got home, I thought, what am I doing? Robbing people on the streets. One day I'll die like this, or go to prison. Joe could have killed me, but he didn't. He gave me a chance, and I used that chance. Finished high school, found a job, worked at a factory for 40 years, got married, had 2 kids, have grandchildren, lived a good life. And every day I remember that night. Joe Frazier gave me a lesson. Mastery comes from repetition. Michael: Did you ever talk to Joe after? Marcus: No, but when I heard he died in 2011, I went to his funeral, stood at a distance, but I went. To show respect, to say thank you. He was my teacher. Started teaching when he broke my rib. Michael. Did your rib heal completely? Marcus laughs, shows his left side. I still feel it. 50 years passed, but in cold weather it aches, like a reminder, so I don't forget. So I don't forget the lesson I learned that night. Michael. What was the lesson? Marcus. Numbers are not power. Mastery is power. We were 8. Thought we were strong. But Joe was alone and he was a master. He won. We lost. But losing taught me how to win in life. Michael writes an article, publishes it. Joe Frazier's unknown story, 2 minutes against 8 men in 1969. The article goes viral. Thousands of shares, comments. People are shocked, can't believe it. But the report exists. Hospital records exist. Marcus's testimony exists. It's real. Sports historians examine it. Research Joe Frazier archives. Joe never talked about this incident. Why? Because it wasn't to boast. He had just defended himself. Nothing to boast about. But the technique was perfect. 8 men, all injured the same, because Joe had repeated one technique 10,000 times. Cloverlay Gym, 1968, 1 year earlier. Joe in training, Yank watching, Joe hitting the heavy bag. Hook, left side, rib level. Again, 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 100 times, 200 times, 500 times. Yank. Joe, why always the same punch? Joe. Because it has to be perfect. I don't want to think in the ring. My body should do it automatically. Yank. But in a match, everything changes. Opponent moves. Plans break down. Joe. I know, but in chaos, one thing must stay constant. That thing should be my perfect technique. Even if my brain gets confused, my body must remember. Yank. The Chinese say, I fear the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times, not the man who practiced 10,000 kicks once. Joe. Exactly. I'm that man, the one who does the same punch 10,000 times. Yank. But will this work on the street? Joe. I don't know, but if such a situation happens, my body will be ready. 1 year later. That street, that night. 8 men. Joe's body was ready. 10,000 repetitions, 8 uses. Perfect. And that night, Joe understood that Yank was right. In chaos, one perfect technique overcomes everything. 2011 Joe Frazier dies. 67 years old. Liver cancer, funeral in Philadelphia. Thousands of people. Boxers, his family, fans. Marcus is there too. Standing at a distance, looking at the casket, crying, thanking silently. Joe, you saved my life. That night you could have killed me, but you didn't. You gave me a chance. I used that chance. Now I'm a good man, good father, good grandfather, all because of you. Thank you, Joe. Rest in peace. The funeral ends. People disperse. Marcus remains, looking at the grave, written on the stone. Joe Frazier, 1944 to 2011, champion, father, teacher. Marcus puts his hand on the stone, his left hand, then puts it on his left ribs. Still feels it, 50 years later. That night, that punch, that lesson, one perfect technique, 10,000 repetitions, a lifetime memory. Marcus leaves, goes home, to his grandchildren, tells them about Joe Frazier, the world champion, his teacher. Kids, one day someone might hurt you to teach you a lesson, but that hurt can make you a better person. Joe did that to me, broke my rib, but saved my life. The grandchildren listen. Do they understand? Maybe not now, but when they grow up they'll understand. What mastery is, what perfection is, and what the power of repeating one technique 10,000 times is. Philadelphia, 2024, Police Archives, file 691118-SM, still there, 55 years old, yellowed papers, but still readable. Joe Frazier, 8 attackers, 6 injured, all same injury, surgical precision. Evidence, historical document, proof that the impossible is possible, and Marcus Johnson still lives. 77 years old. Every morning he wakes up, touches his left ribs, feels it, remembers. Joe Frazier. That night, that lesson, one perfect technique, 10,000 repetitions, a lifetime lesson. Because Joe Frazier wasn't just a boxer, he was a teacher, taught 8 men in 2 minutes, 6 learned in the hospital, 1 remembered for a lifetime. And now you're learning from this story, this lesson. Perfect one thing. Repeat it 10,000 times. When chaos comes, your body remembers. Your brain doesn't need to think. This is mastery. This is perfection. This is Joe Frazier. 8 men against 1 man. 2 minutes. 8 injured. All the same. Because Joe did one technique 10,000 times. And that technique saved him. On the street. In the ring. In life. Mastery comes from repetition. Joe knew it. 8 men learned it. Now you know it. Go, repeat, be perfect, like Joe.